this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
It's Sunday, June 20th, 2021. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
And my name is Mason Knight. This is episode 79, Zombie vs. Gane recap. After that, we jump into some MMA news, and then we talk about the Gane versus Volkov preview show. But before we do all that, Tabor, where do we begin?
With our social media accounts, Mason, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Gab, too many to name, at the Church of MMA. Every single one is the same. Guys, if you have to choose one, go to our Instagram. We're posting there the most funny memes, clips of the show every single day. Hit us up.
And if you guys are watching on YouTube, and if you haven't done it already, be sure to smash that subscribe button. We are almost up to 1,000 subscribers. We're like 30 subscribers away, guys. We can do it. Let's do it. Smash that like button as well. It really does help with the analytics. Get this video out so people see this live stream. And if you guys want church merch, you guys can find that link in the description below. Go get yourself a t-shirt. Really does help. And maybe one day we'll get nicer 4K cameras. Whoa, with the donations.
Absolutely.
And you get a shirt too. So hey.
Yeah, Patreon coming soon.
Absolutely.
Very soon. Want to do some exclusive shows, exclusive videos, stuff that the true fans will really enjoy. And guys, like Mason said, if you aren't subscribed, make sure you do it. We are so close to 1,000. When we hit 1,000, I will choose a lucky subscriber. I will get your t-shirt size, and I will send one to you.
Powerful.
Almost as powerful as this main event here,
Absolutely.
Mason. So let's get right into it.
Let's
we
do
always
it.
start at the top, as always. Chan Sung Jung, Dan Ige. I'm not going to lie. I was pretty shocked because I didn't see Korean Zombie completely dominating the fight in the way he did. Not only was he super smooth and calculated on the feet, completely outpointed Dan every round, I would say. Some say the first round's pretty tightly contested. Some people were giving that round to Ige, but the way Korean Zombie was fighting behind his jab, I just didn't see it. I thought this was a 50-45 situation. And Korean Zombie's ground game to completely dominate Dan Ige on the ground just completely shocked me. And so much credit to Korean Zombie because he's evolving in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Chan Sung Jung looked phenomenal, especially rebounding off that Brian Ortega loss where he got absolutely and completely outclassed. For him to be able to rebound here and have the fight that he did against Dan Ige is a testament to the fighter spirit because, man, Dan Ige is no slouch.
Yeah.
He is a top 10 guy. He's a phenomenal fighter. But Chan Sung Jung reminded us all why he's number 4 in the world.
Yeah, and
he was even coming off that dominating loss to Brian Ortega.
And you know, so many people talk about how Zombie, he lives up to that Zombie name, takes damage but delivers it himself. He didn't take damage in this fight. No. Yes, he was getting blasted in the 5th round, but you know, shout out to Dan Ige for showing the heart and the wherewithal to know he needed the finish. But Zombie was walking through that, and I'd say those were the biggest shots of the night.
Absolutely. And I love the song that he walks out to, the Cranberries, Zombie.
Oh, really?
That's what Chan Sung Jung walked out to. I love it, dude.
Oh, I didn't see that part. Oh, I love it. Yeah. I really like Zombie. I mean, he's talking about how he wants to stay in this top 5. He still wants to stay in title contention, and a win over Dan Ige is very, very impressive, especially after that first round KO. Dan Ige was coming off, had a lot of steam behind his name. But, I mean, what do we do with a Korean Zombie? Does he get a top 5 matchup, or does he fight another top 10 contender?
No, I think this is exactly what we're going to do. And this is MMA news, so we'll talk about it more, but I'm just bringing it up because it's the featherweight division. We'll talk about it more in depth later, but Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez is pulled. I think what's going to happen is I think Max is going to get the next shot, obviously, right? So he's going to wait till September, till that fight's done between Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. He's going to take on the winner of that, and I think they're going to give Chan Sung Jung Yair Rodriguez because that's 3 and 4. That makes the most sense to me, and I think the winner of that's the number 1 contender.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting what's going to happen in this situation because Chan Sung Jung apparently was fighting through a dislocated shoulder the entire fight.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's
super
impressive.
tough. And to do what he did with a dislocated shoulder, it's some of the most impressive things you'll see in this sport. These guys are just putting it out there. And it's the stuff I love to see. So, yeah, that could happen. I don't know what's going to happen with that situation because, Yair Rodriguez and Max Holloway, Max Holloway did pull out of that fight, but There hasn't been any other news about that. I don't know if they're trying to reschedule that fight or if they're going to find Yair a new opponent.
And that's why I think, honestly, they're going to reschedule that fight, or not reschedule the fight, but go their separate ways with that fight. Because normally when you hear, someone gets an injury, an undisclosed injury, you're like, oh, okay. Well, they typically reschedule that fight pretty soon, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen, right? Like when that eye happened, they go, okay, well, we're not doing it now. Now we're going to do it July 24th. We knew that within like a week. We have heard nothing of this fight. I think after Chan Sung Jung went out there and did what the number 4 rank in this featherweight division did, you got to kind of throw him Yair Rodriguez, because as much as I love that Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez matchup, I don't think Max had to take that fight to get the next shot. I think Max has already proven his work. He has shown that he is the top guy in this featherweight division outside of obviously Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. So I think you gotta give Max, he's a number 1 contender. He gets the next shot after September.
Yeah, Max is just such a G. He just wants to stay active.
Yep, and you got to respect it. You got to respect it.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with Robert Whitaker. You got to respect that.
So let's say Chan Sung Jung doesn't fight Yair Rodriguez. Who else do you see? I mean, obviously Max is off the table, Brian Ortega. So that's essentially everybody above him. Would we see maybe a Calvin Kattar, Chan Sung Jung down the road?
I'd love that fight. Or maybe for Josh Emmett's return.
Oh, shit.
Because, again, I don't know where his knees are at. Yeah, obviously below his waist, but I don't know as far as like injury timetable coming back. It's such a dad joke. It's so stupid. But I just don't know with the timetable for him coming back from that injury. But yeah, I'd love to see that matchup too. But Calvin Kattar's a great matchup. I like both those.
Yeah. Ant W, shout out my guy. Ignorant MMA, shout out as well. Thank you guys for being here so early. Zombie versus Emmett. When Emmett comes back, I actually love that matchup. Yeah. That's a name I didn't think about because, yeah, like you said, Josh Emmett with I think, was it both his ACLs or just one of them? I can't remember. I think it was just one, but he hasn't been around. I haven't even seen him on Instagram. I don't know if he's back to training or not.
Yeah, see, I've heard no news idea. Or anything on Josh Emmett.
Yeah, so. Hopefully he returns soon because I think it's been almost a year now.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty long time. It's been a pretty long time. And that's a situation, especially with your knee and your ACL, you don't want to rush back in there.
No.
You take a calf kick or a kick right to the knee again, blow it out because you came back too soon. That's the worst possible thing that you would want for a guy like that. Would maybe, if not Emmett or Kattar, maybe an Arnold Allen versus Zombie. Okay. Arnold Allen's looking for a big fight. And I think that's a pretty deserving one. So it just depends. I mean, does getting completely dominated by Brian Ortega put Chan Sung Jung in a situation where he maybe needs to get one more before he possibly gets a number 1 contender or even a top 5 matchup? It's interesting because this featherweight division, it's kind of the Wild West right now, especially because we have that title fight locked in and we still have not had it scheduled. So there's going to have to be a lot of fights to play out to get a true number 1 contender.
And I would agree with that, but also disagree. I do agree it's Wild Wild West outside of Max Holloway because I think that's clear cut and concise, right? Like Max Holloway is a number 1 contender in this featherweight division. No questions asked, right? But outside of that, you are right. Like you've kind of got the Wild Wild West here because you don't know any of these guys could fight for a title. Mm-hmm. I mean, any of them, all the way down to number 9.
Yeah, you got Edson Barboza. Yeah,
you got Arnold Allen, who's still crushing it at number 7. Josh Emmett at 6, coming back off that injury. Calvin Kattar getting outclassed by Max Holloway about a year ago. But I mean, still, these are all top contender guys. So.
Yeah, Zombie versus Barboza. Shout out to Ant W for that one because I think that might be one of the best matchups you can make.
I would love that, but I'd love to see Yair Rodriguez and Edson Barboza. Yeah, that one would be fun.
Are you shit? Dude, that's the fight they should make.
That's the fight. And I think Edson Barboza deserves it, man, because he's just looked so good as of late. I would love to see that. Edson Barboza's that savvy vet too, man. He deserves a big fight like that.
Dude, that'd be so wild because Yair is so unorthodox. He's so crazy. He's so wild. How would Edson Barboza attack that? I think you just have to get in his face and just constantly kick his leg out.
Yeah.
And if you could do that to a Yair, you chop him down, take his footwork away, that'd just be an amazing matchup. There's so many good matchups you can make in this division. I absolutely love this division, and I just can't wait for the future of it. I think it's time. Should we get into our picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I put 2,000 church coin on Ige. It's just, I feel like Ige's in one of these situations like a Rob Font was a few years ago. He'd work his way up and he's beating these top guys, but then when he gets to a top 5 matchup, he can't find a way to win. Is it a situation where we never see Dan Ige in the top 5, or I think it's just maybe matchups. I think maybe Korean Zombie was just a bad matchup for him.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I think Dan Ige still got the talent and the capability.
And he's young.
Yeah, dude, he's not even 30 yet.
He's
the
young.
guy's
He's
29.
still developing as a fighter.
Yeah, you get in the prime of your fighting when you're 32, 33 years old. I mean, this guy still has 3 to 4 years until he's in his prime. So, no, I definitely think Dan Ige can still be a top contender, top 5 contender, and I think actually could even fight for a belt one day. I mean, especially 4 or 5 years down the road. He's good. He's gritty. He's tough. And, dude, whenever you see Dan Ige on a card, I get excited.
I do too.
Because I know it's going to be a great fight. Win or lose, Dan Ige is going to go out there. They call him 50K Dan Ige for a reason. Because this guy just puts out these great performances time after time again. So for me, no, I definitely think Dan is still a top contender in this division. And, I'd still want to see him fight a top 10 guy.
Absolutely.
I think he still deserves it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that real quick before we move on. Like, who does Dan Ige get matched up next? He's probably going to take a little time off. You know, he did take some damage in that Korean Zombie fight. Korean was just hitting him with that jab, and such a stiff jab. He was fighting so well behind it. So, do you do a Dan Ige versus like a Bryce Mitchell or something like that? I would love to see those jiu-jitsu transitions.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I think I'd rather see Sadiq Yusuf, though.
Ooh,
that's the one
that's a
I'd
great
like to
striking
see.
matchup.
Yes, a very good striking matchup. Sadiq is a number 11 here. And I would love that. And I believe both coming off a loss, because didn't Sadiq just lose to Allen?
Yes.
I might be wrong on that.
Yeah,
but
I think
I'm pretty
so.
sure that was a case. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be a great matchup. Both those guys coming off a loss. And, Dan Ige goes out there, beats a tough guy like Sadiq Yusuf. Yeah, I am right. Yeah. Allen did win that fight. So I think that would be the bounce back fight for Ige. I know I said top 10. I mean, technically Yusuf is 11. But if you were to go out there and beat that guy, then this guy's definitely hanging around the top 10, maybe sniffing 6, 7 after that, because Sadiq Yusuf is a tough guy.
Ige versus Burgos. Jesus Christ. I love that matchup too.
Oh, yeah. Shane Burgos.
I love that matchup too. Shane is such a savage. God, that Edson Barboza fight was so wild. It was so good. It just sucked we didn't get to watch it live. Fucking ESPN Plus. It's cocksuckers every time. Anyways, let's move on. You took Zombie, man. You put 3,000 church coin. That was a nice return for you.
Yeah. I got 2,700 on a -110. So
yeah, it was a rough night for me. It was a rough night for me. I think I got 75 church coin altogether.
Yeah. It was rough.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right.
It is what it is.
Yep, let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. Alexei Oleinik versus Sergey Spivak. Spivak looked fantastic,
yes,
dude.
He did.
And he fought going backwards, and he fought so well behind his jab as well. Completely picked apart Oleinik. And then when they did go down to the ground, not only did he defend multiple submission attempts when Oleinik took his back, which is a death sentence for a lot of guys.
For a lot of guys in this division, yes.
Yeah, even when he was on top, that's still a death sentence. You do not want to be on the ground with Oleinik, yet he had the wherewithal to fight off the submission attempts and land big ground and pound and dominate on the ground, which is surprising because that's Oleinik. That's his bread and butter is the ground game. So much credit to Sergey Spivak. He is a up-and-coming guy in this heavyweight division, possible top 5 contender one day, and I would love to see some of these matchups with him. I mean, let's get into that. Who do you see Spivak fighting next? I mean, I think they just made a fight with Curtis Blades. I believe he's fighting Rosenstrike next. So that's future MMA news coming up. I mean, you got a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys.
I wouldn't throw him to the Wolves right away. I wouldn't throw him to like a Curtis Blades at number 4. However, I guess he just beat number 15, Alexei Oleinik. So maybe you do a...
Tybura just got a big win.
Yeah, but Tiberia's been on a win streak, a 5-fight win streak. I'm not going to give...
True, he almost serves a top 5 guy.
Yeah, he does, absolutely. Especially in the heavyweight division when it is so hard to string together that many wins consecutively. Marcin Tybura definitely deserves someone higher. However, I hate to do this. But maybe Walt Harris after 3 straight losses.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if anyone has to, really show up and say, okay, I got to win this fight, it has to be Walt Harris. And if you're giving him a guy who just beat number 15, that's right on the outside of that top 15, I think that's the match. I don't necessarily think it's the perfect matchup, but I think it is a matchup that does make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but I think that's a bad matchup for Walt. in my opinion,
Oh,
because
for sure.
the way he fucking just flowed so well with his striking last night, it's a bad matchup for Wall. I'd almost say give Wall an unranked guy, but there is a name out there. He's coming off of a loss that is sticking out to me, and I think that's Augusto Sakai. And the timing would work out because Sakai just fought not too long ago.
Yeah, it's a hard case to make when you want to give a guy who was outside of the top 15 a top 10 guy after beating number 15. Like, I don't know if I would go that high. I know you're hyped on Spivak, and he did. He looked great. I'm not denying that whatsoever. However, there are levels to this division. There are levels to this fight game, and I think Alexei Oleinik and Augusto Sakai right now in their career are two different things. I mean, if you were to put Augusto Sakai against Alexei Oleinik, I think Sakai would probably knock him out in the first round, and Alexei Oleinik's not taking that boy down. That guy's way too big. So again, I would give him anywhere from that 11 to 15 range. I mean, even a Tom Aspinall.
That would be a good fight. Tom Aspinall.
Ivanov. Yeah, one of them. But I don't know about a top 10.
I don't know. I think Spivak versus Sakai would be fucking fantastic. But I got to shout out Ignorant MMA. Harris KO'd Spivak already. There's so many fucking fights. It's so hard to keep track of this shit.
I know it is.
It's so wild. There's too many fighters, but I love it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you could do with this guy. I mean, he did just beat number 15. So yeah, I mean, the options are open, especially in this heavyweight division. And this heavyweight division's looking fantastic because I remember last year I was saying that this heavyweight division's garbage, but like everyone is evolving and getting so much better. It's really shocking me at how developed these guys are. It's not just dudes just going out for the KO anymore. No. You got to have technique.
You do. You got to have skills.
Absolutely. I love that stuff. Let's get into my pick. I took Oleinik. I really thought he was going to take him down and submit him. And shout out to Spivak for having the ground game, the wherewithal to not fall for that. So I put 200 church coin on Oleinik, lost those.
Yeah, I put 540 on Spivak, and got a return of 245.
Alrighty. Marlon Cheeto Vera versus Davy Grant. This was my fight of the night.
Yeah, this was a
great fucking fight. Davy Grant was throwing haymakers, going for the KO, but Cheeto, like once again, I'm going to say it, fought so well behind his jab and was so well keeping the distance. And when they did clinch up, he was dominating in the clinch. And this was a rematch that Davy Grant edged out the last time. So now they're 1-1, maybe down the road when Davy Grant moves up in the rankings. You could see a trilogy matchup, and I would love to see that because these guys are very well matched up. But the way Cheeto Vera flowed last night, I think Cheeto might deserve a good matchup after a fight like that.
Well, not only that, but that third round, too, to be able to go out there, those first two rounds were great, and then Cheeto Vera to pull a 10-8 on one judge's scorecard. Yep. I thought that was a clear-cut 10-8. I don't know where the other two judges didn't. It was completely dominant. I mean, the rule of a 10-8, like you would figure that would have classified as a 10-8, but two judges didn't have a 10-8 for that, which I thought was kind of weird. But yeah, no, he absolutely dominated Davy Grant. It is 1-1, and that would be a fun future matchup, as a trilogy, maybe when these guys start to develop a little bit more and move up, And for Marlon Vera, too, like to get completely outclassed by Jose Aldo not too long ago, I think he learned a lot from that fight. Yeah. I really do, and I think he definitely implemented that against Davy Grant here, and he looked great.
There's a name that's sticking out to me right now for Cheeto, and that is Cody Stamann. Cody Stamann and Jimmy Rivera, or even a Kyler Phillips at 14. Like, any of those matchups are fantastic. You have a Sanso up there at 11. He's not fighting Merab.
Nope.
Who's Merab fighting? Merab got a fight announced.
Yeah, he did.
Who is he fighting?
Who was that?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
It's someone good. And he deserves it. I mean, there's so many matchups you can make. I would like to see Cheeto versus Rivera next. Yeah, that's a fantastic fight. Jimmy Rivera has really, I don't want to say struggled because he still wins fights. He beat Cody Stamann, but I mean, Jimmy really fucking worked his way back up to that top 5 and then just got pushed back down, and now he's sitting at 11. Jimmy Rivera's in a situation where Merab is fighting. That's right. Merab is fighting Marlon Moraes. God damn, that's a fantastic matchup.
That's right, Marlon Moraes. Yeah, that's what you wanted to say, Gibbs. Yeah.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
Marlon Moraes. Yeah, that's a good matchup.
I can't
wait.
Thank
God, man. Merab finally gets someone.
I know, right?
I mean, no disrespect to Cody Stamann. or anything like that. Like, those are all great matchups and whatnot. But finally, to get a guy who was a former champion, who was a great fighter in Marlon Moraes, like, I'm super stoked for Merab.
Yeah.
Definitely deserves that.
I think Marlon Vera versus Jimmy Rivera is a very good fight, because if Jimmy Rivera loses that fight, I'm not going to say he's done. He's definitely not. He's still I'd say he's still in the prime of his career. He's not at that tail end yet. But if he loses that fight, I mean, it's just going to be rough for the guy. He's going to have to work his way back up and fight unranked savages that are coming up into this top 15. And it's going to be rough for him. But a Chito Vera win, or even if Chito Vera beat a Jimmy Rivera, that's a huge name. That's
a huge name.
Yeah, it's a huge notch in the belt. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah, no, I love that matchup. I think that's the matchup to make. I think it makes the most sense stylistically as well. So
yeah, absolutely. So I did take Cheeto. Oh no, I didn't. I took Grant. God,
you took Grant.
Left and right. I'm taking L's. Left and right. Yeah, I took Grant. I thought he was going to go out and get the KO, but Cheeto, I mean, even when he did get hit, he just walked through it and showed that he had a fantastic chin, as he always does. But yeah, I took Davey Grant. I put 400 church coin on him, and I lost that one.
Yeah, I put 480 on Vera and won 200 church coin on that at a minus 240.
So the next fight, Julian Erosa, Sung Woo Choi.
We did not pick this fight.
Did not pick it, but I did see the KO. And,
yeah.
You know, not only did Choi eat, I didn't watch this fight, I just saw the highlights. Not only did Choi eat a massive left hook, but when he landed his own, just put the guy to bed.
Yeah,
man's got sneaky knockout power. Yeah. And I love seeing these up-and-coming Korean fighters because, you know, Korea's a big market.
Absolutely, dude. South Korea is a huge market, man. I just think it's so cool. It's so cool to see these Korean fighters. And I'm glad that this guy got a big opportunity on a main card. You know, obviously, in part by Chan Sung Jung, obviously also being South Korean. But, yeah, I mean, on a big stage and get a huge knockout like that in the first round that literally just folded the guy. He just, like, was in a prayer position after the fact. So, beautiful performance, great knockout. So, yeah.
All right. Wellington Turman versus Bruno Silva. It was another first-round KO. I didn't even see the highlights to this one, so I'll just toss it to you. How was this fight?
It was a good fight for as long as it lasted. I mean, it lasted one round, obviously, and, you know, the knockout in the last 15 seconds. But I'm trying to remember this knockout, but it was a good fight while it lasted. I mean, yeah, that's all I got for that.
Yeah, I've been too busy, man. It's been hard to watch all these cards. I'm in the process of moving and stuff, so it's rough. It's rough for me, but I'm glad I did see this one. God, Matt Brown and Diego Lima.
This dude at 40 years old, Diego Lima, like the way he knocked him out.
Yeah.
Lima was out cold, bro. Face first
Stiff.
in the canvas. I was just like, oh my God, Matt Brown, you still got it.
He still got it. He is super competitive.
Holy shit.
I mean, what do we do with him? I mean, he's finishing guys now, and he's still winning fights, and he wants to keep fighting. So, I mean, do we give him a top 15 matchup?
No, retire. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if he wants to keep fighting. But, dude, what a way to... I mean, if you wanted to retire, that's the way to retire right there. Knocking someone out cold like that. I mean, because I guess obviously, like, he's fine. He's still winning fights. So if he wants to continue, of course, I'm just kind of joking. It's tongue-in-cheek here. But, I mean, at 40 years old, if you don't plan on fighting for a belt, unless you're just doing it for the love of the sport, I mean, what a way to retire. That was a crazy knockout. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I'm not pushing for the guy to retire, but at 40 years old, I hate to see guys go past, you know, too far past. But then again, Alexei Oleinik's 43 and still fighting. So, I mean, hey, whatever. To each his own.
Ant W coming in hot with these hot takes every time. Matt Brown versus Nick Diaz. Oh my goodness, what a great! I think that's a great matchup. You don't think so?
No. It's a good matchup. It's a good matchup. But I mean, is it going to sell?
Not as big as like a Nick Diaz versus anyone in the top 15.
Jorge Masvidal for the BMF belt.
Yeah, but that's
that kind of stuff.
That's the thing with Nick. It's like Nick hasn't fought since he lost to Anderson Silva. So I mean, do we give him a top 15 guy? I mean, I guess just because he's the biggest name.
You have to.
In the welterweight division. You have to. But I mean, at the same time, it's like if it was anyone else, he would have been fighting a Matt Brown. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. But you got the star power and name recognition in the Diaz name. It's just like you have to. If you're taking this opportunity to have Nick Diaz come back, you don't want to give him someone that no one knows about, right? I mean, maybe you do because he's such a big name that you could bring eyeballs in. He gets his first win. But I just don't see Nick. I think Nick, when he wants to come back to fighting, I think he wants to take on a top 15 guy. I think he wants to be challenged. I don't think he's looking for easy wins. I don't think this is like a boxing scenario where he wants to get a couple wins under his belt before he takes on someone too. Because how old is Nick Diaz now? He's got to be like 37, 38.
Something like that.
Yeah, he's the older brother.
He's close to 40.
Yeah, he's 37, 38, I think. So, yeah, I don't know. As far as Nick Diaz, let me check his age.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Brown is, I do want to say this guy is on the tail end of his career. So, I mean, that would be a big payday for the guy. And it'd probably be a deserved fight. But, I mean, it's just, like you said, he doesn't have the name. There's no name recognition. I mean, if you're a hardcore guy, if you're watching fights left and right, you know who Matt Brown is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but if you're a casual, you don't.
And as you said, too, I would love to see that. I think Matt Brown's one of these guys who's been around for so long in the sport. I would love to see him get a big payday. Love to see him get a big fight in Nick Diaz. I just don't think business-wise they're going to move.
Yeah, Dana's not going to make that fight. Yeah.
That's kind of the thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. So here's the matchup for Matt Brown. Santiago Ponzinibbio. No, I'm just
Throwing it savage.
Muslim Solikov.
Here's the matchup. Gilbert Burns. Right after
Kamaru
that Stephen
Usman.
Wonderboy Thompson fight.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many names in this welterweight division, unranked names. I think he's just going to keep fighting unranked guys until he rides off in the sunset.
And that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool with me. Let's give this guy good paydays, and let's give him winnable fights because I don't want to see him just get thrown to the fucking wolves and knocked out in his last fight.
But I mean, damn, dude. I mean, Diego Lima's, a pretty decent fighter. He
he's
was
an
on a
up-and-coming
win streak.
guy.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
that's
32
a big
years
win.
old. It was a huge win, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, he did lose to Bilal Muhammad, but in 2019 won a couple fights, and Bilal's the real deal. I mean, he's a top 10 guy now, but that's just wild. It was crazy. That knockout was I would have loved to see the line on Matt Brown KO.
Oh,
what that would have been. It probably would have been like a plus 800.
Absolutely.
I mean, gosh, dang, you would have cashed out big, dude, had you made that.
Absolutely.
Good for Matt Brown, dude. Love seeing it.
Yep. All right, Mason. MMA news time. So, like we said earlier, we teased it. Max Holloway is out of the Yair Rodriguez fight. We have not heard new news, and we have not heard why. Is it an undisclosed injury? So usually when you see stuff like that, that's when they try to tend to keep the fight together because you don't want to give your opponent the advantage by knowing what the injury is.
Or just the rest of the organization, the rest of the fighters.
Yeah.
In general. But I have 3 words to sum this up. Crying Jordan meme.
I know.
I mean, dude,
so
like
upset.
that's like when I saw that fight was out, I was like, you got to be kidding me. That was one of my most anticipated fights for the summer.
Yeah.
It was, and now it's just not going to happen, and it just sucks. It really. I mean, because dude, we were going to have International Fight Week, July 10th. McGregor Poirier 3, and then we're going to do Max the next week, July 17th, Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, and then July 24th, Corey Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw.
Oh, I know.
I mean, back to back to back, just incredible fights in the summer. And then boom, we get the news that this fight in between those two is going to get pulled July 17th. Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, not happening anymore. And like I'm not trying to be like dramatic here, but I was devastated.
Yeah.
When I saw that news, I was like, I was looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, so what are they going to do? Is this fight going to get rescheduled? I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but I mean, do you see it getting rescheduled down the line, or are they going to find a replacement fighter for Yair Rodriguez?
Yeah. As we had talked about earlier, I really do think that's the route because, look, we don't know how severe this injury is. We don't know what kind of injury. It was completely undisclosed. But let's just say it's something not very good, and Max has to take a couple months to recover from this injury. That aligns him perfectly with the Ultimate Fighter, Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega, which will take place for the featherweight championship sometime in September. And then after that, you could do a January, February against Max Holloway because unquestionably Max Holloway is the number 1 contender. Did not need to take this fight with Yair Rodriguez, but did it because he's such a badass. But, injuries comes up, things happen. So I think the next matchup that makes logical sense here is a Chan Sung Jung versus Yair Rodriguez, number 3, number 4, take it on. And then let's see that fight take place. And if there are fireworks, the winner of that is a new number 1 contender after Max Holloway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
just my take.
It's curious to see what happens because I don't know if Yair is going to stay on this card and they find him, or if they just reschedule it down the road. I don't even remember what was the co-main to that fight. It doesn't matter. Either way, we'll see. I love me some Yair Rodriguez, and if Chan Sung Jung, if this shoulder injury isn't a lingering one, or if it's something they could pop it back in, he's good after a few days. I would love to see that matchup, and you keep it on that date.
The co-main for that fight was Islam Makhachev versus Thiago Moises.
Oh fuck that! You could make that a main event.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I just wish Islam had, maybe a higher ranked opponent. No disrespect to Thiago Moises, but we go over this time and time again that no one wants to fight Islam. I mean, dude, I would say no disrespect again to Thiago Moises, but I said you reschedule that and put someone else there. Someone higher than Thiago Moises, who's sitting at what?
That's pretty fucking disrespectful.
Well, sorry, bro, but Islam deserves it. I mean, this guy's a fucking savage, bro. He's 19-1, and no one wants to take this fight. It's just unbelievable to me.
I agree. I'm just saying that you're no disrespect, but it's fucking disrespectful.
Well, you know what? It's like saying, it's like preemptively saying, I'm sorry. Okay, before doing something really fucked up. Right? Like, I don't mean to offend you, but you look like shit. It's like, well, no, that you're offending me. You can't just say no offense. It's not like a get out of jail free card here.
Yeah, I agree with that take. It's just the problem is one, no one's taking the fight anyways, and now you're going to say, hey, now you have to fight Islam on short notice. It's not happening.
It ain't happening.
Islam versus Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell's a featherweight, my guy, but you know what? I'm not going to lie. That would Islam dominate
Islam
would dominate him. I love Bryce Mitchell. I don't want to see that happen.
I really wanted to see that Rafael Dos Anjos matchup
against
Islam. That's the fight I really want to see because one, that's going to show us where Islam Makhachev truly is in this lightweight division, which I do think he's great, but that's really going to test him. And then Rafael Dos Anjos has always been, considered that kind of top tier guy where if you can get past him, that's the pathway to gold. But if Rafael Dos Anjos goes out there and takes all that hype away from Islam Makhachev and goes out there and beats him,
that's a number one contender worthy fight.
Exactly. And then after that, man, he's got to take on a top guy in this division. And if he wins that fight, give him a title shot.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that was the matchup that made the most sense. I don't know how we got off on this, but the co-main. But god dang, Rafael Dos Anjos should have took that fight. It's frustrating. And I know the circumstances, guys. Oh, one pulled out this and that. And then Rafael Dos Anjos had surgery, so I get it. I understand, but fuck, that's a fight that needed to be made.
Absolutely. Or Dan Hooker or something like that. Yeah. Somebody needed to take that fight. But yeah, if Yair doesn't get a replacement fight, if Chan Sung Jung or someone like that, I mean, who else could step in on short notice against Yair? Let's look that up real quick. I mean, you got guys like, I wouldn't be shocked if Calvin Kattar, Arnold Allen, like we said earlier, steps in on short notice to fight Yair Rodriguez.
I want to see that. I want to see Arnold Allen. That's who I want to see. And this kid deserves it.
Yes.
He's like 24, 25 years old, and this dude just steamrolls. Like, he's so fucking good. And his last fight against Sadiq Youssef, the way he was able to just outpoint him and outstrike him, I mean, this kid is the real deal, man. And I believe still undefeated in the UFC.
Undefeated in the UFC, and that's a fantastic main event.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic 5-round fight.
That's what I'm excited for.
Yes. I mean, look at Yair Rodriguez. Who did Yair beat last? I think it was Jeremy Stevens.
And it was been a while ago.
It was supposed to be a main event. The eye poke happened, and then they moved it up to a co-main or a 3-round fight on a pay-per-view or something like that. And then everyone was talking about how that fight should have been 5 rounds.
Yep.
I want to see Yair Rodriguez go 5 rounds, and Arnold Allen would be a huge test for both of these men. You also have Calvin Kattar. That's a fantastic matchup as well. That would be a huge test as well. Calvin Kattar's got 5-round cardio, and he's got fantastic boxing. I'd love to see it. I'd lean Yair in that fight. Arnold Allen would be different because he's bringing in the ground game. He's bringing in that jiu-jitsu. He's bringing in the wrestling. So there's a lot of options you could do. I mean, would you even be shocked if you saw Edson Barboza step in short notice?
That's another one. That's another one. And not only that, but Edson would deserve a fight like that. There are matchups, dude. And that's perfect for Edson Barboza, too, because, he did have some early questionable fights in the featherweight division where it could have went either way. One in specific, Dan Ige, was a pretty close fight. Mm-hmm. But, dude, I'm telling you right now, at number 9 right now for Edson Barboza to take on number 3 and go out there and upset him, he's right in line for a featherweight shot, dude.
Yeah, and that's what he wants.
Edson Barboza.
Absolutely.
That's a name. That's a name that sells, at least for the hardcores. I mean, maybe not the casuals, but that's a great fight. That's a great matchup as well. So, give me Edson Barboza. Give me Arnold Allen. I'm cool with either one of those. But Yair Rodriguez has not fought since October 18th, 2019.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, it's crazy. It's like we got to see him fight.
He's got to stay on this card.
Yeah.
Unless they go, hey, it's only an eye cut with Max Holloway, and he's going to fight 1 month later.
Yeah,
and then in that situation, you could be like, okay, you could wait 1 more month for Yair.
And that's fine.
Like you said earlier, if it's a pretty decent injury and he's got to sit out a while, you have to keep your on that card and you have to find a replacement fighter. We'll see. Stay, like I said earlier, guys, go follow. I would rather keep them together. Max keeps Max busy and gives another title shot contender. Yes, I understand that. But, like I said, Yair needs to fight. He needs to fight, and he needs to fight soon. So, give me anybody. Give me anybody. Keep him on this card. Let's keep this kid active because he is 1 or 2 wins away from a legitimate title shot. Yeah. So anything could happen. Anything could happen in this wild sport. And like I said, follow our Instagram, guys. We will keep you up to date on this news. So the second a new matchup gets made or we find out it gets moved down the road, we will keep you up to date. All right. Let's move on to the next piece of MMA news. Anderson Silva defeated Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a boxing match.
So it was a split. It was 77-75 for 2 judges scorecard and then 75-77 for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Wow. Anderson Silva doing what Anderson Silva does at 46 years old. I was watching I didn't watch the fight live. I'm not going to sit here and lie. However, I did watch the highlights. And, bro, it's wild. Anderson Silva's like baiting him, putting his hands down. I'm like, dude, you're almost 50. You're still doing this shit. You're still doing it, man. But you know what? Fuck yeah. Anderson Silva. Let's go.
Still one of the greatest counter strikers in the world.
Still winning fights, man. I fucking love it. Because, dude, I would just be honest with you. I didn't want to see him box. At 46, I just didn't want to see that. I don't want to see him get knocked out again. But the fact that he went in there and boxed and won that fight, that's just so cool, man.
Against a world-class boxer.
Yeah.
He did what McGregor couldn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair.
It was Floyd.
It was
True, there's differences.
Still Pride Floyd, so.
Yeah, I love seeing that, man. And now he's talking about he wants to box the Paul brothers and...
Anderson Silva said that?
Yeah, he wants to fight either of them.
I'd like to see it, though.
Yeah, he's actually got skills, and it'd be the most difficult fight you could make for a Paul brother, probably.
I think, yes. I already know what you're going to say.
What are you going to say?
Paul Butters.
The Paul Butters?
The Paul Butters. The Paul brothers are a little too big for Anderson Silva. I think like Logan Paul. Like what did he weigh in against Floyd?
190, I think.
Yeah, 190.
192.
Well, that's about the same
lines
size.
up.
Yeah, that's about the same size. I don't know if I want that, but I don't know. Anderson Silva, I go back and forth on it. I don't know. I want to see these guys fight the Paul brothers, but then I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. Yeah. And it's so crazy. I hate to do this, but we got to shout out the Paul brothers. They are so good at marketing that they can get MMA channels to talk about them and to talk about them all the time. They're on Food Truck Diaries. They're getting interviewed by Ariel Helwani every fucking week. It's like, dude, they have really just kind of seeped into the mixed martial arts and boxing world. It's shout out to them, dude. Their marketing's so good. Love them or hate them. They're smart kids, man.
They should make a celebrity boxing match. Like, they should just make their own promotion for celebrity fights.
And you know what's so funny is it's as long as you don't give me 35 fucking concerts in a night, I would actually tune into celebrity boxing. I think it's a great idea. They used to do it back in the day. Because here's the thing. If I know what I'm getting into, if I'm tuning in and I know these guys aren't world-class boxers, they're just celebrities who are fighting each other, I have a lot of grace for that because I'm like, all right, if I went and trained for 6 months, I'd look like that or maybe even worse. So like there's some sympathy there, right? And I know what I'm tuning into. I would like a celebrity boxing league organization. I think it'd be awesome. I'd actually enjoy it because I love combat sports and I like to see, like, I'll go to these local events before fucking COVID. And I would just watch these amateurs fight. And they're not fucking, UFC fighters, but it's fun to watch. It's entertaining because it's still combat sports, still people hitting each other.
Yeah, so apparently I guess the plan is Anderson is going to fight Roy Jones Jr. And this has got to be bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that said Tyson. And my bad. I read that wrong. Anderson Silva is going to fight Roy Jones Jr. on the Jake versus Tyron card. Okay, I would see that. I would see that.
I like that.
Roy Jones Jr., I mean, that's a rough fight for Anderson, in my opinion. That's a pretty rough fight.
It's a rough fight, but I mean, after watching that Tyson fight, I think Anderson could do it.
Yeah.
I think he could. I mean, you got to stay away from the power, but I mean, again, Roy Jones Jr. is what? I think he's 50.
Like 50 something, yeah.
He's like 50, 51. He's pretty, but I mean, Anderson Silva's 46.
Yeah,
so I mean, shit,
the Spider's still got it, dude. He's still on point with the counter strikes because that's the reason why he won that fight.
Yeah, it's so impressive to be at the level that Anderson Silva is at 46 years old. Mm-hmm. It's really phenomenal. And yeah, no, he's not prime Anderson Silva, who defended his belt, fucking 10, 11 times. But he is still an elite athlete at 46. It's incredible to me. It's so wild.
Yeah, before we move on to the next thing, did you see that Logan Paul called out Mike Tyson?
I did see that, and I thought they were like boys. I thought they were cool with each other. I don't know.
Yeah, but for the biggest payday ever for both of them, I wouldn't be shocked. He goes from Floyd Mayweather to Mike Tyson. I say make the fight, and I hope Mike just says, I'm actually going to throw a fucking overhand right to the head for once, and I would love to see that kid get
Go for the kill.
Drama World, we are going to break down our preview show here after MMA news, but we will talk about Gane versus Volkov. Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the next piece of MMA news. We finally have the real reason why Paulo Costa dropped out of that fight. He got a hair transplant. Okay, this got to be a fun. This got to be a fun. This has got to be a joke, right?
No, that's real. He posted it on his Instagram.
I know, but that was definitely a Photoshop picture. The one with his little goatee and then the hair that was gone.
That's real. He's getting the hair transplant.
But
I didn't even know the guy was balding.
Oh my God, bro. Who the fuck is it? There you go, Paulo. Paulo, I don't understand. You had everything. Paulo Acosta, you had everything going for you in life. You're the most chiseled, most beautiful man who knows how to fight. And it's and you're a top contender in this division. And somehow you just managed to fuck up every situation you're in. I don't understand it. For whatever reason, I don't understand it. Israel Adesanya fucked this guy's head up so bad.
Drama World. Costa got destroyed mentally after his. It's true. When you get butt fucked like that in front of millions of fans, it messes with your mind, man. He's not even balding yet. He's getting a hair transplant. He's just fuck it. I want a big.
He's pulling out of a top contender fight where if he would have beat Jared Cannonier, he would have been right in the discussion again for another title shot. What is going on?
He just does not want to go bald. Some dudes just cannot. He's just fighting it off. He would rather lose money than go bald. That's determination, and I fucking respect it.
I mean, I guess, bro. I don't give a fuck about going bald. I want to go bald. I'm actually jealous of people who are bald. I fucking
Tabor,
hate
you're
hair.
bald.
I'm balding. I need to shave my head right now, bro. The shittiest thing about going bald is you got to put sunscreen on your head. Because yesterday I was working out in the sun, and my head is red as fuck right now. It hurts so bad just wearing this hat.
I have a serious question. Do we ever see Paulo Acosta fight ever again? No, I'm fucking serious, man. I mean, a hair transplant, according to ANW, it says 6 to 8 months.
That's crazy. Can't take any shots to the head. I guess that makes sense. Just knocks the new hair right out.
Is this fucking real life right now?
What a fucking crazy reason not to fight. Why not wait until after to decide if you're going to get a hair transplant?
Right.
Who the fuck needs a hair transplant that goddamn bad?
I don't know.
I mean, even balding. I couldn't tell.
Oh my God, bro. It's just the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest fucking thing. I just don't get it.
I love it. I fucking love it. This guy is wild, dude.
I love
He's
this guy.
out of his mind, brother. I love it. I love it. I don't even know what else to say.
That's why I got a canvas of Izzy, because he literally ruins people's fucking career. You can be undefeated, you can be a chiseled god, and somehow Israel Adesanya will get in your head and fuck you up, and you'll never be the same again.
Yeah. Shocking.
Wow.
Shocking. I mean, what do we do with Paula now? I mean, 6 to 8 months out. I mean, you don't give him a Jared Cannonier after that.
No, I don't care. I don't even want to talk about it because it's 6 to 8 months from now. I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, anything could happen. You could have fucking, Uriah Hall in the top 5 by then.
Yeah, you could. I mean, goodness gracious. I don't know.
Paulo will have an afro next time we see him.
Thank you. You're welcome.
He's just got a faux hawk. It's just a giant fucking
It should be a mullet. If he comes back with anything less than a mullet, fuck Paulo Costa.
No, if he comes back with a mullet, all sins are forgiven.
Yeah,
we will
absolutely.
love you, Paulo Costa. Come back with a mullet. Hey, let bygones be bygones. Come in. We'll give you a top contender.
We're going to
guy.
hand you a Budweiser and a high five right when you come in, brother.
Absolutely. Yes.
He's got a fucking Confederate flag tattooed on his chest.
Absolutely
not.
MAGA across the neck.
No, he's Brazilian, guys. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way.
The ignorant MMA. This is a good one. He heard Izzy likes long hair.
Oh, that's just fucked up.
Hey, you like something to grab?
They're just clowning him. Oh, I love it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I agree with the drama. I did want to see Whitaker versus Costa. That was the fucking fight to make. And
yes,
then
it was.
He fucked that off We don't even know the reason why he dropped out of that fight. I think it was an injury or something, but he just dropped that off. And then he gets another great matchup handed to him that would keep him in the top 5, would keep him relevant in Jared Cannonier, and then he fucks that off again. And now he's getting a hair transplant, can't fight for 6 to 8 months. I don't know what this guy's doing.
I don't know. No idea, man. It's wild.
It is wild. It's super weird. And it's unfortunate because I really like Paulo. He's a fucking savage, and he was one of my favorite fighters coming into that Israel Adesanya fight, and then that happened, and he just fucking fell off the wagon.
Yeah, ever since then, it's just nothing's ever been the same.
It's wild. It's wild. It's a wild story. I love that one.
Let's go to this wild story. Luis Violent Bob Ross Pena arrested and charged with robbery and battery.
Yeah, this is crazy.
You were the one who broke this story to me. I had no idea.
Yeah, this is
Tell
weird.
me some details.
So I will just, there's not a whole lot of details. Apparently, Pena was taken into custody by Coral Springs, Florida Police Department on an extradition warrant from another Florida county. Details were not available per MMA Fighting. He picked up by police on an anonymous tip to his whereabouts, and he's being held in the Broward County Detention Center. That's all we really know as of now. And, you know, Luis Pena put out a tweet a couple days ago, and he says, people aren't comfortable talking about this, but I have been going through serious mental health issues my entire life and have finally gained the strength to get and accept the help I've needed for a long time. If you're struggling, take it from me. It's okay to reach out. So I really only want the best for this guy. I don't know the situation around this. It sounds like it's a battery as well. So, you know, if that's an aggravated assault and robbery, I mean, what happened? Did he just steal someone's phone? Did he take someone's wallet and beat him up? There's no details. Maybe more will come in the future, and we'll keep you guys updated when we know more. But as of right now, it's not looking good for my guy. And I really like Luis Pena. He has one of the most fantastic stories in, I would say, MMA.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're huge fans of Luis Pena. We've even got the Pop Funko of Bob Ross, but you know,
Close enough.
It's whatever. But I mean, yeah, it's a really, really sad thing to hear this. But I mean, obviously not the end of the world. We've seen fighters like John Jones hit a pregnant lady with his car, have a bunch of cocaine on him, doing a bunch of cocaine. So it's not the end of the world. I mean, things go, you know, fighters go through things. My hope is that Luis Pena, I'm glad he came out and said that openly and honestly, because I think that is very important for mental health for a lot of people, is to just be open and honest and to admit that they need help. Like, I think that's like one of the first steps in addressing mental illness. So I'm glad he was able to do that. But I just hope he gets the help that he needs and then just focuses purely on fighting again and gets back to it. Because, I mean, we love Luis Pena on this podcast. We love what he does. His story's great. And I wish him the best.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I hope we're not saying all this positive stuff about the guy, and then we find out like he beat the shit out of some lady and took her purse.
Well, I mean, like robbery and battery. Yeah, there would be assault charges if there were that.
Yeah, it's wild. This is the guy that you would not think this would come from.
No,
because he's a super nice guy.
Yeah,
super nice guy, and he's got a fantastic story about how he was a foster child for so many years, came out of the system, and wasn't a thug, wasn't a piece of shit. I mean, so many people have really fucked up childhoods like that, and unfortunately, they never recover. And it ruins their lives. And this was a guy who was that breakout story, did break out of the system and did do good. So it's just super unfortunate. And I hate hearing stuff like this. Like we said, I only wish the best for Luis Pena. Hopefully he could come away with this. You know, hopefully he doesn't get jail time. Hopefully he doesn't go away for a while. Hopefully he just pays some fine, does some community service, and does get the help he needs. I mean, we're probably not going to see him fight for a while.
No, probably not for a while. But, you know, we've seen these instances happen, not with just John Jones, but like Tony Ferguson and different fighters like that. And then we get to this point when we first hear the news, we're like, oh my gosh, they may never fight again. And then come to find out they work through some of their problems. They get it figured out. I mean, yeah, I do agree with you. I mean, we could very well not see him fight till 22, 23. But, but right now his mental health and his personal life is most important, and I hope he gets it figured out, man. I really do, because I love watching him.
Yeah, so apparently the UFC hasn't put out any statements, but they did say they won't be making a matchup till they learn more. Yeah. So, I mean, even they don't have details. So, who knows? Who knows? Anything could have happened. Hopefully it was a situation where he was defending himself or something, and then there's a mismatch with the police or something. I only want the best for the guy, and I don't like hearing stories like this, especially about guys I really like.
I gotta be honest.
My balls was hot.
right now in this chair. These chairs are so uncomfortable. My back hurts.
Talking all serious
Oh my
about.
gosh. Well, I had to lighten up the mood.
This guy had a
little bit, guys.
problem.
Come on.
Mason's like, you know what? My problems are more important.
My lower back problems are more important.
Yeah.
No. But anyway, let's move on to the preview show. Let's do it.
Absolutely. All right. This is a big fight. This is a very big fight in the heavyweight division. This is I want to say maybe number 2 contender fight, but I wouldn't be shocked if, we go through Jones or Lewis or whatever the fuck's going on with those. I have no idea what's going on there. Yeah. But I mean, the winner of this fight could be in line for a title shot. We got Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. Cyril Gane's coming in at a -160 to a +135 in Volkov. I'm actually a little bit shocked by that line. There's a lot of hype behind Cyril Gane, and it's deserved. I mean, the guy's fantastic.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
And he's got some of the most technical kickboxing in the entire division, and he's going up against a savage in Alexander Volkov, who has, I would say, if there was a race to see who was more technical, maybe you give the edge to Gane, which is probably why he's the favorite. But this is a fantastic striking matchup. This is going to stay on the feet. I wouldn't be shocked if someone gets knocked the fuck out. I also wouldn't be shocked if this goes 5 rounds, and this is a tightly contested war. I'm very excited for this fight.
Yeah, dude, this is the heavyweight banger I have been waiting for. And to answer Drama World's question, Gane versus Volkov, winner to be a contender for the belt. Abso-fucking-lutely,
Yeah.
The winner of this one is the next person in line outside of Derek Lewis, obviously, which will happen probably, hopefully in August. But they are the next person in line for that belt outside of the John Jones matchup, because we don't know if that'll ever come to fruition. So yeah, I'm all for it. Gane versus Volkov, winner. Next guy in line.
And Ariel Helwani has come out and said that it's looking like that fight's not going to happen in August. So it looks like Francis isn't going to be fighting in August. Apparently, the negotiations are going sour. Apparently, Francis is still fighting for that John Jones fight, but John Jones is just still doing his thing, and I don't know what's going to happen. If this negotiations, I mean, we're almost into July now. Yeah. So, I mean, this fight needs to be made as soon as possible if it is going to happen in August. Absolutely. It's looking like it's not going to. Unfortunately,
it's a real bummer because August 7th, bachelor party. I was really hoping Ngannou was going to headline that card. God dang it, that sucks.
Have you guys looked at that card recently?
August 7th?
Yeah.
It's just Amanda Nunes and
there's
Juliana
like 2
Pena.
fights on there.
Yeah,
so they don't fucking have a clue on what's going on.
It's wild, too, because that's a pay-per-view. So you gotta put on at least a halfway decent pay-per-view.
Yeah, and we're a month and a half out.
Yeah.
So Dana's really fucked on this one.
Yeah.
Let me look at some of these matchups. To be announced versus to be announced. That's literally Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena. That's the only fight.
Yeah, that's the only fight that they've announced so far. But let's talk about Cyril Gane and Alexander Volkov. Taylor, how do you see this one going down? I mean, because for me, I got to be honest here. I think this is the best test for a Cyril Gane at this moment in time in his career. Undefeated, 8-0, has been a savage. I mean, even going out there and beating Jairzinho Rosenstruck the way he did for 5 rounds. I won all 5 rounds in my personal opinion. Outclassed him, outdominated him. But Alexander Volkov is a different beast. He's a different animal. He's long, lengthy. He keeps it range a lot better. He's got really good head kicks, really good movement, really good striking. I love this matchup because it's really going to see how technical Gane is and if he's going to be able to compete with a top dog like Alexander Volkov. And Volkov has looked fantastic as of late. And so I just love this matchup. I'm so excited for this. And yeah, the rest of the card is not like by any means no names like really pop out. We're like, oh, that's going to be a phenomenal fight. But dude, this main event is well worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like you just said, Volkov's got the range and he's got that length. So, I mean, if he could fight behind his jab, land a lot of leg kicks and find some power punches, I wouldn't be shocked if he squeaks out the victory. It's going to be hard for him though, because Gane is just, I'd say he's the most technical guy in this division. It's ridiculous how fucking good this guy is on the feet and how well he could fight, not only going forward and pressuring, but also going backwards with the counter striking. It's a rough matchup for both of these men. I don't know who's going to win. It's like, this is a hard fight for me to pick. I'm probably leaning Gane just because he's got the O. He is yet to be defeated in a mixed martial arts fight. And he is, they're saying, the new hope of this division. I mean, he's so fucking good. So I would almost want to see this kind of go down to the ground. I know these aren't really ground guys, but they both have decent ground games. So if it does go down to the ground, I'm just very interested to see how those transitions go, who could stay on top, whether the jiu-jitsu is good enough to get out from bottom. I'm interested. I'm going to go Gane. I'm going to put at a -160. That's a pretty decent line in my opinion. I'll do 2,000 church coin.
2,000?
2,000 church coin on Gane. I really think that this guy could be the next title contender. I mean, does he go out there and beat Francis Ngannou? I don't know. I don't know if anyone beats a technical, calm Francis Ngannou because it only takes one, but it would take a fighter like Gane to do it.
Yep.
You know, I mean, the way he could fight backwards, that's the way you beat him. And you beat him by chopping down those legs. And I don't think there's a better leg kicker right now in the heavyweight division than a Cyril Gane.
Yeah, unquestionably. I think for whatever reason, I really do like Cyril Gane. If he were to go out there and win this fight, I'd be so happy because I do believe that as well, that Cyril Gane could definitely be the future of this division. And could you imagine a Francis Ngannou Cyril Gane down the road? Oh my God, that'd be an awesome fight. So, but for me, I got to be honest here. I'm really liking Alexander Volkov. I think he has more weapons. I think he's more elusive with his striking. And for whatever reason, I think he will get the job done. I think this is going to be a very closely contested fight. I think it'll be 3-2 if he does win, maybe even a split decision. But I do see this fight going decision. But I'm going to squeak it out for Alexander Volkov here. I'm laying 1,000 church coin down on Volkov for the win.
Yeah, you're not wrong with that. I mean, especially the way he works with his jab and he has that length and that it's going to be hard for Gane to get inside.
Yeah, I think it's just something he hasn't seen yet. You know, I mean, at least to the level of Alexander Volkov.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. So let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. Tanner Boser versus Ovince St. Peru. Tanner Boser's coming in at a -115 to a -105 at OSP. It's a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em fight.
Yep.
Oh, I actually like that OSP is fighting that heavyweight. He looked pretty fucking good in his heavyweight fights. And he's thick, dude.
He's a thick
big
boy.
Motherfucker,
Yes,
dude.
he is.
He's thick. So I'm going to go Boser. This one's, I wouldn't want to say easy. I just think OSP's on his way out. He just hasn't looked fantastic in his last few fights. Boser has looked pretty good, especially if he could take OSP down and dominate him on the ground. I mean, if OSP's on his back, he's not the most dangerous fighter. But if he's on top, it's almost over for a lot of these guys. He gets that OSP choke, it's done. You know, no one has a better Von Flute choke in the UFC than OSP. So I'm excited for this fight. I hope it goes down to the ground. I'm really interested in the transitions that happen. If it stays up on the feet, I'll give OSP the advantage. I mean, he's a fantastic kickboxer, but Boser's big. He's a big guy, and he can take you down. He's got a lot of strength.
Yeah, you know, this is one of the most surprising and shocking things I think I've ever seen. So Tanner Boser goes out there 3 weeks ago. I mean, 2 weeks at this point, because we're not even there, and fights Yair Latifi for 3 rounds. You know, obviously Latifi won that fight. He's already back in a fight. Already back in a co-main event spot 3 weeks later after fighting for 15 minutes.
Savage.
You don't see that very often. That's a very savage move on his part. But you know what? I'm going to go with the active fighter. I'm going to go with Tanner Boser here. I really also do believe that he will win this fight. I totally agree with your breakdown. I think OSP is kind of on the tail end of his career, and he has not looked the same in his last couple of fights. And he's lost some fights that I really thought he should have won. So I'm going to put 400 on Boser for the win.
All right. I think I'm going to put 300 on Boser for the win. I think, I agree with you on there. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Danilo Marquez. I totally butchered that guy's name. So shout out to you.
That's okay. You got the hard one.
Yeah. Nzechukwu. This is a heavyweight fight, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't think it's light heavyweight. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's a light heavyweight fight.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. Nzechukwu is fucking big.
Yes,
he's a huge light heavyweight, and he is very technical as well. And he's going up against a guy who's 11-2, a jiu-jitsu master probably in Marquez. This is Marquez. The name doesn't ring a bell for me. I've probably seen him fight. I've seen so many fucking fights. There's too many fighters to keep them all.
There are a lot of fights. His last fight was February 6th on that Overeem Volkov card. He got a submission in the second round against Mike Rodriguez.
Okay, so yeah, jiu-jitsu master. I mean, this is going to be rough. If Nzechukwu is keeping on the feet, he can't outpoint him. He's a fantastic technical kickboxer. So I'm going to go Nzechukwu. I'll put 300 church coin on him.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I really like Kennedy Nzechukwu.
I know, it's rough.
Whatever. I'm having a stroke, everyone. I'm having a stroke. I think he's got a lot of power. He's a good fighter. His last loss was against Paul Craig. He got submitted in the 3rd round, but he went 3 rounds with Paul Craig before getting submitted. I really like Nzechukwu. Oh, gosh. It's so tough. It's so tough.
Just say Kennedy, bro.
I'm going to say Kennedy. I know, I'm trying. Kennedy
just give it up, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying. But I'm going to go 400 church coin on Nzechukwu. Gosh, dang it. I gotta keep trying. We have an MMA podcast. I gotta figure out the names, okay? It's part of the gig. But I'm going to put 400 church coin on him for the win.
All right. Andre Touchy-Feely versus Danielle Pineda. This is an easy one for me. I love me some Touchy-Feely, but this is a rough matchup. I'm not going to lie. This is actually going to be a fucking banger probably, and I'm very excited because Andre Touchy-Feely comes to fight every single fucking time. So does Danielle Pineda. Tightly contested, could be fight of the night, possible fight of the year, maybe, who knows? We don't really have a whole lot of fight of the year contenders, I feel like.
Yeah, we got a few.
We've got a few, but I mean, last year was a fucking banger of a year. I mean, it's hard to live up to last year. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I'm going Touchy-Feely. I'm gonna put 500 church coin on him. I love this guy's style. I love his the way he moves, his footwork, his boxing is fantastic. If he could keep it up on the feet, I see him winning the fight.
Okay. Yeah, initially I was going to go with Philly, but you know what? I'll switch it up because we've been the same this whole time. I'll go with Pineda. I'll put 200 church coin on Pineda for the win.
All right. Warley Alvarez versus Ramazan Emeev. This is an easy one for me. Ramazan Emeev coming in at a minus 135 to a plus 115. Yep. Warley Alvarez. This is going to be a ground fight. This fight is going down to the ground immediately, and someone's either getting submitted or fucking pounded into the mat, and I'm going with the Russian. It's easy as that for me. Yep. I'm going with the Russian every single time. So I'm going to go 500 church coin on Emeev. He's got a fantastic ground game, and he can strike too. He could really strike, but so could Warley Alvarez. And he's got the jiu-jitsu on his side. But, when you're underneath a Russian who's pounding you into the fucking mat, sometimes that black belt goes straight into a blue belt real quick.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Emeev's going to win this fight. I also have him. I'm putting 300 church coin on him for the win.
All right. Renato, before we finish this last fight, guys, ask us a few questions for the end of the show for the shout-out segment. After this fight, we're either going to just do shout-outs or we'll answer some questions. We'll get involved with your guys' chat, and then we're going to end the show. So Renato Moicano versus Jai Herbert. Renato Moicano's coming in at a minus 263 to a plus 210 in Jai Herbert. It's that ground game, dude. Yeah. It's the ground game, dude. This is going to be a fantastic fight. Moicano can fucking strike like no other, but he's got absolutely elite jiu-jitsu as well. I'm not surprised he's a big favorite, but Jai Herbert's fucking good, and he's got knockout power. He's got a decent wrestling game, too. If this can stay up on the feet, it's going to be really interesting. It could be a war. It could be fight of the night. It's going to be a fantastic one. I'm going Moicano. I think his jiu-jitsu is that good. I'm going to go Moicano probably by submission. He's just too good on the ground. If it goes down there and he's on top, especially, it's rough night for these guys. Yeah. Especially at lightweight. Moicano, since he moved up to lightweight, has looked fantastic. Yeah. So I'm going to put 500 church coin on Moicano.
Yeah, it's an easy one for me. I'm going to go with Renato Moicano as well. I am also laying 500 church coin down on him for the win. I think this was the easiest pick on this card. I just think he's got the tools to be able to get the job done.
Yeah.
And Francisco Trinaldo just went out there and beat Jai Herbert, knocked him out in the third round. So I definitely like Moicano here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kevin Weeks, thought on the recent UFC event. I thought it was a great card, man. Thought it was a great card. Korean Zombie showed out. Yeah. He really did. Go make sure you watch this show back so you can get our full breakdown of the fight and thoughts on what's going to happen in the future in this featherweight division. But Drama World, he says he wants to see Hamzat come back. We have yet to hear from Hamzat. I know he's training. He has yet to get a fight. He was shooting for that Nick Diaz fight. Nick Diaz said, fuck you. And thank
you, pal.
God
that is
he
not
did.
Yeah.
Thank God he did. I do not want to see a dead body get pulled out of that octagon. No, Hamzat is a fucking savage, especially at 170, and he has knockout power at 185 as well. It's just, this guy is a possible number one contender, and he's only had 3 fights.
He's only had 3 fights. We got to calm down a little bit.
I know, but it's like he was about to fight
that
Leon
Gerald
Edwards.
Mearshart fight where he knocks him out, in the first minute of the fight. Yeah, but like, oh my God, at middleweight, oh my God.
That Leon Edwards matchup was so exciting in my opinion because I wanted to see it. Is because if he beat a Leon Edwards, I'd be like, yeah, throw him to Usman.
Yeah. For sure. But here's the thing. He's pulled out of the rankings now. He's not even in the top 15 anymore. They pulled him out of the rankings. Muslim Solikov is now number 15 in the welterweight division.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. He hasn't fought.
So Hamzat Chimaev comes. Let's answer this question though. Hamzat Chimaev comes back. Who do you want to see him fight? Realistically.
Let me pull the rankings up.
All right, quick. So this is what I see.
That's a tough one. I mean, you got Neil Magny. Neil Magny's been calling him out.
Yeah, Neil wants that fight, man. Neil wants that fight for whatever reason. Neil wants that fight. He wants to shut up the hype. I like that matchup, dude. Neil Magny, Hamzat Chimaev. Yeah. And I think that's a good middle ground test. Neil Magny being at 8 right now in this welterweight division against Khamzat Chimaev, we're really going to see if Khamzat Chimaev is top 10 worthy in this division. I love this matchup, dude. I really do, because if Khamzat were to go out there and beat a Neil Magny, I mean, now you're talking top 4, top 3, you know? I mean, with the hype surrounding this guy, and if he goes out there and completely outclasses and outdominates Neil Magny, you got to throw him. You got to throw him to the wolves, man. You got to throw him to a top 5 guy. So.
Yeah, and because we're talking about Khamzat, the Desmond, is it Bowie? I'm going to read it like this because it's funny. Desmond Bowie, who wins Khamzat versus Colby? Oh, fuck.
See, I don't think we've seen enough of Khamzat.
I know,
But
that's the thing.
We would have if that Leon Edwards fight. Fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
That's a good question, though.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
I think just based on what I've seen for throughout the years, you know, Khamzat, I've only seen him fight 3 times. I got to go, if I'm a betting man and I got to put money on one, I got to go with Colby Covington there.
Yeah, probably.
However, would I be shocked if Khamzat went out there and completely dominated him, especially on the ground? No, I wouldn't be. However, I would go with Colby Covington in that fight.
You know how shocking that would be?
It'd be
because
the most shocking thing in UFC
no one's
history.
done that to Colby.
No one.
No one's out wrestled him.
Nope.
And you know, everyone thought they were gonna have a fantastic wrestling matchup in that Usman fight, and it ended up being a fantastic kickboxing matchup. Yeah. Shockingly. So I mean, Colby's got really good fucking striking as well. But if he did get taken down by Khamzat, does he get back up? That's the question, because Khamzat is a fucking savage, and he's probably one of the biggest 170s we've seen since Usman himself. You know what I mean?
I really like this question by Desmond too. Which current lightweight has the best chance of beating Islam?
Ooh,
that's a great question.
That's a great question.
And you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that question is I would have to go with Charles Oliveira.
Yeah,
but that's the champ. See, that's the funny thing is I think Islam is a good enough fighter to where he should be fighting for a belt. That's how good Islam Makhachev is, and like the fact that. Yeah, I honestly, I think Charles Oliveira's got the best chance. The second best chance, I would probably have to go with either a Justin Gaethje or a Dustin Poirier. But again, Islam Makhachev should be top 3 right now.
The thing is right now is I think Islam Makhachev smokes everybody. I don't see anybody beating him, not even the champ. I mean, the champ's his worst matchup, I would say, just because of the jiu-jitsu. But, I mean, if he's on top pounding fucking Oliveira into the mat, I just don't see anybody beating him because, one, we haven't seen it. Yes, I know he's got an L on his record, but, I mean, he's undefeated in the UFC, I believe.
Yep.
And so, I mean, until we see somebody beat him, I just don't know. I'm going to have to leave Islam on every single matchup. I think he beats Dustin Poirier. I think he beats Justin Gaethje. I think he beats Dariush. I think he beats Oliveira. I don't see anybody contending with Islam right now. It's just so unfortunate that he can't get a big fight and really get his name out there in front of the top of the division. Eventually, you're just going to have to give him a title shot. Yeah. It doesn't matter if no one in the top 10 is taking that fight. If he just keeps smoking everybody that they put in front of him, he's going to get a big fight. So,
wow, that's a hot take, Mo Lester. Mo Lester. That's fucking hilarious. I just realized that.
You said it out loud, and we're like, wait a minute.
Wait a second. I see what this motherfucker's doing.
Moises beats Makhachev.
That's what he said. That's a hot take.
I don't know about that. I think Makhachev is going to smoke him.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, if you're right, maybe you can come back and molest us. No,
second or third UFC feat. Oh, so he isn't undefeated in the UFC. No. God, there's too many fucking fights. I cannot keep. No, Islam. Oh. He got knocked the fuck out in his second or third UFC fight. So that's his one loss.
Yeah, no, he's 19-1. Yeah. So he has lost a fight. Let's see. Have you seen how stacked the McNuggets card is? This is from Ignorant MMA. That's so funny. He calls them McNuggets too, because that's what we call them. For a big name, it's a lot of bangers under it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
No. UFC 264 is great. That co-main event, Gilbert Burns, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
I wish that was 5 rounds.
Oh, God, so do I. That would be a great 5-round fight. And then you got Tai Tuivasa and Greg Hardy on that card as well, which you guys remember originally it said co-main for that. Yeah, fuck off on that, dude. Give me Gilbert Burns, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson as co-main.
Just watch it actually be the co-main.
And then Irene Aldana and Yana Kuznetsova and Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Luis Smoka. Those are the 5 fights on that UFC 264 for McNuggets. That's huge, man, because normally when you get a McNuggets card,
they suck.
They suck. All the fights under suck. So, yeah, man, they really stacked this for International Fight Week. And shout out to Dana. I'm glad he did it.
Who's Ryan Hall fighting?
Who's he fighting?
Ignorant MMA just said Ryan Hall. Is he on that card?
Oh yeah, dude. We have Sean Brady and Kevin Lee in the prelims. Nico Price, Michelle Pereira.
That's a great fucking
Carlos
fight.
Condit, Max Griffin, Trevin Giles, Dricus Duplessis.
Ryan Hall versus an undefeated Georgian, I think. What
This is
flag
fucking
that?
early prelims at 3 p.m. You have
What,
Ryan
Ry-
Hall versus,
I'm watching that fight.
Oh my
I
God.
love me some Ryan Hall, dude.
Look at this early prelims. Jennifer Maya's on this card against Jessica Ai.
That's a great fucking fight.
Phenomenal. Amaria Makhmedov versus Brad Tavares.
Yeah.
What in the hell is going on
This is
here?
a fucking stacked
Wow, this
fight.
is stacked card, man.
It's International
No
Fight
joke.
Week. You show out for International Fight Week, my
Boys,
man.
we what do we think about doing an early fight companion?
Let's fucking do it.
Let's
We might
do
as
it.
well.
Yeah, let's do
6-hour-long
it.
fight companion.
Well, whatever. Who cares, man?
We'll take breaks in between. We'll
Yeah.
have a prelim fight.
we'll
companion.
have piss breaks and whatnot. You guys want to see us do an early prelims or prelims fight companion? Let us know.
It'd be dope
Like
if Ken
this
just
video.
let us smoke down here.
I
Fucking
know, bro. For
Ken.
international. Let me talk to him. Let me talk.
It's
to him. Let
almost
me
your
see.
wedding, bro.
I
Pull
know,
some
bro.
pull some strings, bro.
I'll put a little fan in that window there. It'll blow it out. It'll be nothing. He'll be fine with it one
Let's
day.
go 6 hours in here.
Yeah,
Fuck
there you go,
ignorant
ignorant MMA. See, he wants a 6-hour fight
I'm
companion.
into it. Mo Lester
Absolutely.
also is not a big fan of Islam Makhachev.
No, he
yeah,
is
I
not.
saw
Rather
that
molest
glass
him.
jaw Makachev. Man, he got knocked out one time. Like,
Come on, man. It's a fight. You're
he got
bound to
knocked
get
out
knocked
one
out.
time, and his ground game is too elite. If he takes anyone down on the ground, maybe it'll Oliveira.
I do have a question for Mo Lester, though. Who do you think is the best lightweight in the world right now? Comment below. Let us know who you think the best lightweight in the world is.
All right, Desmond Boy. Who do you want to see Masvidal fight next? He's currently on a 2-fight losing streak.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
And
Nick
still
Diaz.
the baddest motherfucker?
No, we're not doing this again. We do this too often.
I do it all the time. What the fuck? Why are you carrying around the belt?
It's
Get
not a real
rid
belt.
of the
It doesn't
BMF belt. I
exist.
don't want to see it anymore. Give it to Kamar Usman. Usman.
It's like having like a 6-inch long dong and then carrying a biggest cock belt. Like, no, you don't. It's just factually untrue at this point.
I would
I know,
kill
dude.
for a 6-inch dick. No, I'm just kidding.
You and me both, David.
Yeah, man. But as far as Masvidal, here's the thing. Yeah, whatever, BMF. I do troll him quite a bit, but I love Jorge Masvidal, and I would love to see him fight either one of the Diaz brothers or Conor McGregor after he loses the trilogy. Those are fights I am tuning in for. I'm super excited for. Can main event on any card, even a fucking pay-per-view, and I would tune into that because Jorge Masvidal is a huge star, and he's a likable fighter. He's a likable guy. He's very authentic in the same way that the Diaz brothers are very authentic. I think Jorge Masvidal is very authentic. So I like it, man. I like those matchups. I think they're the only matchups to make.
I'm sorry, what matchups were they again?
The Diaz brothers or McNuggets
Or McGregor,
after
yeah.
he loses.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be big fight or bust. I mean, the only other guy really is like a Leon Edwards, but I mean, Leon's in the position where he could wait for that title shot.
When
after
they're
Colby.
both ducking that fight.
Yeah,
They're
they
both
don't
making
wanna fight.
excuses
Yeah.
already for it. So
Yeah, and
that's never gonna
of
happen.
course, he's just going to say free piece in a soda. He's like, I already beat that guy, 3-piece in a soda, blah, 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 stuff like that. But I get it. It is what it is. Ignorant wants us to go 6 hours, dude.
I know. I love it.
Oh, this is right. I'm sorry, Aunt W. You're right. I did see this question earlier, but we were just getting a little bit off topic. Who do you guys got in the Pitbull versus AJ McKee fight? That's a fucking great fight at Bellator for the fucking
Absolutely.
featherweight Grand Prix championship and the belt. I'm probably leaning Pitbull. One, because he's got knockout power and he's beaten fucking everybody.
Is that featherweight or lightweight?
That's featherweight. It's the
it is?
featherweight Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah, he's
because
double
he's the double champ.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's double champ. That's right, yeah.
And AJ McKee's might be the biggest featherweight I've ever seen. Like, he's fucking as tall as Max Holloway and thicker. So, I mean, that's a great fight. And he says he's the best fighter Bellator has. I can't wait for that fight. I don't know who's going to win. I'm leaning Pitbull just because he's the champ. He knocked out Michael Chandler. So, I don't know. If Pitbull lands, he could put anybody to sleep.
Absolutely. Mo Lester. I actually agree with you, bro. I'm a huge Charles Oliveira fan. I think he might be the best lightweight in the world. We'll see what Islam is going to do moving up the rankings. But no, I do agree with you, and I think that's the toughest matchup for a Dustin Poirier if he were to get that shot next. I think Charles, everything I've seen from him has been nothing but greatness. So I actually do agree with you, bro.
Yeah, I think he's the best lightweight in the world. I think the only person that can really contend with him is an Islam, if we see Islam go up. I don't know. I think you're selling Islam a little short, my guy. And yes, I am a casual.
So McGregor versus Masvidal should have happened last year. Yeah, it
Yeah, it
definitely
did.
should have. But I think here's the thing: like when you look at both of their careers right now, Conor's going to lose 2 fights in a row because Dustin's going to win. Period. End of discussion. All he's done is beaten Cowboy. And then what you're going to have is Jorge Masvidal obviously losing 2 straight to the champ. That's the matchup to make. That might be the highest pay-per-view of all time. That might even surpass, just because they're both huge stars at 170, right? You know, I have Conor move up. That might even surpass numbers of McGregor and Habib Nurmagomedov. That might, dude. They're both huge stars. I mean, both these guys can bring in 1.1, 1.2 million buys, but you combine that star power, I think that would be an insane card that could do 2 million buys. Call me crazy, but if it happens, I'm not as crazy, bro.
How many buys did Habib and McGregor do? Was it 3 million or something?
It was something crazy.
It was like, I thought it was over. It was like
2.2 or 2.4.
Oh, it was just over 2.
Something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was wild.
Yeah, I think it's time, Mason.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thanks for all the questions, guys.
Thank
We
you
love
guys.
the
Yeah,
we love the chat room. We love all the questions. We love doing this podcast. We'll keep it up and tune in for our 6-hour fight companion. That'll be July 10th. We just confirmed it here. We'll be drinking. We'll probably be fucked up.
We're gonna be hammered by the time the fucking prelims start.
Yeah, no shit. But it'll be a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, I can't wait. So quick shout out. I should have given him a shout out last week and I totally fucked up. I flew down to San Diego, saw my little brother.
Oh, yeah.
He graduated from the Marines. He's now a full-time Marine, and shout out to you, my guy. You did something that not a lot of people can.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your service, Steely.
Yeah,
Attaboy. Way to get it done.
My guy.
All righty. Shout outs.
Oh, do you got one?
No, I don't. Let's wrap the show up.
Okay, hey, shout out to Mo Lester for calling us casuals.
Yeah, we love it. We love the.
I love your name,
chat.
dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's
so
pretty
fucking funny.
Mo Lester. Thank you, Ignorant MMA.
Yeah, thank you. Shout out to Ant W, Drama World, Ignorant MMA, Desmond Boy, Mo Lester, everybody that is contributing.
Absolutely.
All right.
Guys,
if you aren't following us already, make sure you go and do it. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at the Church of MMA. It's all the same. Go hit up our Instagram. We're posting there the most. Funny memes, making you laugh.
Please be sure to smash that subscribe button. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Going to have a community page. A lot of cool things in the work for this podcast. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Taylor Cragen. And until next time,
peace.